Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome to another Quran study. Today we'll be reading from Surah 7, starting at verse 63. Let's all seek refuge in God from Satan the rejected. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Is it too much of a wonder that a reminder should come to you from your Lord, through a man like you, to warn you and to lead you to righteousness, that you may attain mercy? They rejected him, consequently, we saved him and those with him in the ark, and we drowned those who rejected our revelations. They were blind. So, this is a continuation of verses that is discussing what happened with Noah and his people. And, he's asking his people good questions. Sometimes it could seem rhetorical, but nonetheless, it's still a question that incites these people to think, right? To be able to kill their egos, accept the proofs, or just accept the message that he's bringing them, because as we know, he's inviting them from other verses. He's inviting them to the path of peace and happiness and forgiveness, and not just that, but he also, said, a lot of blessings will come their way, if they, work righteousness and follow the right path, So it's, but that's of course shouldn't be the motivation, if people do things for material benefits or increase. That just comes with it naturally. We do it because we reverence God, we appreciate God, we love God, we're grateful for our existence, of being created and to worship God, So, but these people rejected him, and so. They got their proof, right? Because we know they challenged him, and their proof, I guess you could say, was in the form of the retribution, the drowning. I'm sure at the point of when drowning is overtaking these people, they're probably very regretful, of their initial decision. But God is the most just and most merciful, so this didn't happen without these people deserving it, right? So, and as we see, here in another example, we have Hud, verse 65. To Ad we sent their brother Hud. He said, "O my people, worship God. You have no other God beside him. Would you then observe righteousness?" The leaders who disbelieved among these people said, "We see that you are behaving foolishly, and we think that you are a liar." He said, "O my people, there is no foolishness in me. I am a messenger from the Lord of the universe. I deliver to you my Lord's message." Okay, looks like we just got disconnected. But we're back. But it's also a proof for who's gonna kill their egos and accept what God is sending to these people.
We can hear you just fine. Your connection's fine.
Okay. I'm just wondering, I guess it's gonna start new streams on YouTube maybe. I didn't really want to have to do it and drive somewhere like last time. But it keeps this, it's doing, it used to do. We challenge you to bring the doom you threaten with us if you are truthful. He said, "You have incurred condemnation and wrath from your Lord. Do you argue with me in defense of innovations you have fabricated, you and your parents, which were never authorized by God? Therefore wait, and I will wait along with you." We then saved him and those with him by mercy from us, and we annihilated those who rejected our revelations and refused to be believers. So we can see that, the title of this verse, subtitle is Following the Parents Blindly is a Human Tragedy. So, and a lot of people, humans still do this today, and this has been a common theme, if you want to put it that way, throughout the Quran about people, following the parents versus over the guidance that comes to them, and also we see this, for the people that end up in hell, they, following the parents, following the leaders, basically setting up idols besides God instead of abandoning the falsehood that they grew up learning about and being taught, but it's, we can see the arrogance here. Instead of, this type of response is just, says everything, because instead of, maybe looking into the matter, right, but they're actually challenging, they don't realize it, they may not realize it, but they're challenging and they're fighting and opposing God, right? Of course, and they've been condemned for this. We then saved him and those with him by mercy from us, and we annihilated those who rejected our revelations and refused to be believers. MashaAllah, so the believers are always going to be saved, regardless of these communities that they're in. But there's also sometimes, we have different examples on how, on the different ways, people, the believers specifically, were rescued, right? We have the example of Noah, we have the example of Moses and his people, we have Abraham and his people, and so forth. So God always rescues the submitters from these people, from the judgment that inevitably comes upon these people. So it's a good reminder for us to keep in the forefronts of our mind, despite what's happening and what's going on around us. So we have another example, Saleh. To Thamud, we sent their brother Saleh. He said, "O my people, worship God. You have no other God beside him. Proof has been provided for you from your Lord. Here is God's camel to serve as a sign for you. Let her eat from God's land, and do not touch her with any harm, lest you incur a painful retribution. Recall that he made you inheritors after Ad and established you on earth, building mansions in its valleys and carving homes from its mountains. You shall remember God's blessings and do not roam the earth corrupting you." So they're being invited, to be appreciative of God's blessings, right? And they're also being sent a proof, for their own good, right? He's not asking them for money. He's not asking them for any of these things. He's inviting them to the best path. But, it's a test for these people as well. So we know what happens. Next verse, 75, the message, proof of messengership. The arrogant leaders among his people said to the common people who believed, "How do you know that Saleh is sent by his Lord?" They said, "The message he has brought us has made us believers." MashaAllah, so especially thinking about, in the context of what we have today with the miracle and the message of 19, you can, this applies to us too as submitters, because if you really think about it, the message that 19 proves and confirms is God alone. It's the most truthful, logical, sensible message, right? is exactly the natural instinct that God gave us. And, plus, as we know, nobody else preaches this, right? No other religion. You don't, even at the time of the messenger, you never heard about God alone, or you never heard about God, without Jesus, or God without Muhammad. It was just unheard of. So I mean, it's the message that he brought us has made us believers, and then they also, God is so merciful to send his proof, right? And for these people, it was in the form of a camel, which, camels were very significant. They were a big deal at the time of Solomon for these people. And same thing, as we know, like magic was a big deal at the time of Moses. Poetic literacy was a big deal at the time of Muhammad, and so forth. And so we have today's the greatest miracle, which is tailored exactly and specifically for this generation and subsequent generations, and it's perpetual too. MashaAllah. Okay. 76, the arrogant one said, "We disbelieve in what you believe in." Subsequently, they slaughtered the camel, rebelled against their Lord's command, and said, "O Salih, bring the doom you threaten us with if you're really a messenger." And asking for something good, like they could ask for like, I mean, both, I guess, are very bad because they're being rebellious, but just outside of them slaughtering the camel, and these people are so bad in the sense, and the arrogance, they challenge the retribution and the doom instead of maybe asking, will bring us something nice or pleasant, or some a bunch of delicious food or something, which is still bad. I'm not saying that's good, but we can see they're not even doing that. They're asking for judgment. They're asking for their own annihilation, just the haughtiness and pridefulness of these people. So, yeah, it was the same with Hud as well. His people. And Noah as well. I mean, it's always Moses, so it's not good for these people. Consequently, the quake annihilated them, leaving them dead in their homes. He turned away from them, saying, "O my people, I have delivered my Lord's message to you and advised you, but you do not like any advisors." Yeah, so this is the inevitable fate for these people, and these are good examples, and they're precedents for the future generations. Because each of these generations were fully aware, as they bear witness themselves in these verses, and their messengers tell them, how God has made them inheritors of the land after Noah, after Ad, but they don't. Instead of looking back on their history, the people of Thamud or the people of Ad, etc., and learning from it, as they're warned and told, they don't, like other verses say, they say that retribution was limited just to their ancestors before us, so they apparently they think they're special or something, or even if they don't think they're special, as we know from other verses, they they think their great might or their secure homes are going to save them, right? But we know that's not the case because we also have examples. Each of these preceding generations were more powerful than the following ones. So the older generations were clearly more powerful, and this is laid out in the Quran. So what makes these people think? I mean, this is just logical thinking. I mean, anybody could, even a child could understand this. So it's very easy for these people to see from different points or different angles, and they're given so many proofs, both in the form of miracles and just in the form of, thinking, killing the ego, and how this stuff should, but they don't like being advised, in any of these ways. So Lot's homosexuality condemned. Lot said to his people, "You commit such an abomination. No one in the world has done it before. You practice sex with the men instead of the women. Indeed, you are transgressing people." His people responded by saying, "Evict them from your town. They are people who wish to be pure." Yeah, this is interesting. It's like they even bear witness that, I mean, they know that what they're doing is wicked and evil. And they know that Lot and his people are want to be pure, and so they literally don't want this in their society, right? So I mean, they're fully aware of what they're doing, right? And they're being warned. I mean, even these people, were given, but I mean, as we know, when the people, as it also explained and clarified in the King of Chaos by the messenger of the covenant, Dr. Rashad Khalifa, so when we have different types of disasters, the fourth and really the devastating disaster is the retribution when, there's no point of coming back, when the people have become so corrupt and have brought really complete annihilation upon themselves. So we can see this has been the case. This is the case with these people as well. Consequently, we saved him and his family, but not his wife. She was with the doomed. We showered them with a certain shower. Note the consequences for the guilty. So it's telling us to note the consequences for the guilty. And so, I mean, it's not going to be any different for today's generation either. It doesn't say, I mean, we know it doesn't say, like, note the consequences for just these people. No, I mean, this is people who engage in these transgressions, who don't abide by God's law, transgress against the people. The consequence is always the same. It's always going to be the same one way or another. These people can be selectively annihilated. People on an individual basis. I mean, we have, especially for today's world, there's different ways and means of the retribution coming to people, to the guilty specifically, right? Not people who repent and reform and turn righteous and become submitters. Shuaib, cheating, dishonesty, condemned. To Midian we sent their brother Shuaib. He said, "O my people, worship God. You have no other God beside him. Proof has come to you from your Lord. You shall give full weight and full measure when you trade. Do not cheat the people out of their rights. Do not corrupt the earth after it has been set straight. This is better for you if you are believers. Refrain from blocking every path, seeking to repel those who believe from the path of God, and do not make it crooked. Remember that used to be few, and he multiplied your number. Recall the consequences for the wicked." So the same thing, same message was sent to Shuaib's people, through Shuaib, to the people of Midian. And, they're also, I guess these people had a lot of this going on in their society. And not to say that, like, Sodom and Gomorrah didn't have this either. Of course they did. But highlighting this for these people specifically, they're told to turn righteous, and you shall give full weight and full measure when you trade. I mean, this goes across the board, not just for these people, of course, but I mean, this goes for everybody. And do not corrupt the earth after it has been set straight. And so these people at one point, the people of Midian, I'm wonder, I guess it was the same I don't know if it was the same Midian that Moses had gone to, but this maybe was before all that. Um, but yeah, recall that you used to be few and he multiplied your number. So I mean, these people might have, um, these people. The quake annihilated them, leaving them dead in their homes. Those who rejected Shuaib vanished as if they never existed. Those who rejected Shuaib were the losers. So look, they're always going to be the losers. It's always going to be the same for these people. Even people of today's generation that are scheming. I don't want to say incredible schemes, but because they're not incredible, they're very wicked. I'm specifically talking about the villainous leaders of today's communities. In any and every country, whoever they are. But they're scheming incredible schemes in the sense of these schemes are very great and their size and but they're only scheming against their own souls, right? Because if you think about how like you grew up seeing those little cartoons like Tom and Jerry, and so someone's coming up with a very, very seemingly clever trap for the good character or the mouse or whatever. I mean, whatever however the cartoon went, but they end up falling in the trap themselves, and you don't think it's going to happen because it doesn't seem that way, but inevitably, that's one way to if you want to visualize it like that. But these people, even if it doesn't, happen in that exact way, nonetheless, the people who disbelieve, the wicked doers, the transgressors are always going to be wiped out. And so we can see the quake completely annihilated them, and God's victory came for these people as it did for the preceding generations. But these people were also warned and also invited to the path of God, but they brought this upon themselves. So just wrapping up this verse, last verse. Excuse me. He turned away from them, saying, "O my people, I have delivered to you the messages of my Lord." I just saw that comment. Brother Sulima. "I have delivered to you the messages of my Lord, and I have advised you. How can I grieve over disbelieving people?" So, this is what Shuaib said, and so he had, mashallah, delivered the messages to his Lord, and he doesn't, we don't grieve over such disbelieving people. I mean, who's more merciful than God? God is the most merciful, the most gracious, possessor of infinite mercy. And these people, so there's no reason. I mean, if there's anything good in these people, right, as we know from other verses in the Quran, if God knew anything good in them, he would have guided them. And there were people among these, this community that believed with Shuaib, subhanAllah, so they had reformed, but these people that were disbelieved or continued in disbelief were eventually wiped out. So, Shuaib doesn't feel sorry for them or grieve, and then, of course, neither should we, and of course we know that. But it's still good to remind ourselves, in case like we might have people that were once close to us, that we understand that that if you have to disown such people once you realize they're enemies of God. I mean, it's the same thing with these people. They God is the most just. And so with that being said, if there's any comments or questions, please feel free. And if I made any mistakes, may God forgive me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, brother. Good study.
MashaAllah.
MashaAllah, thank you.
MashaAllah.
Hello, brother. Good job. Thank you.
So normally when you watch Tom and Jerry, you root for Tom or Jerry? I'm confused.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I kind of root for both of them. I didn't really take sides, but I was trying to think of like the other cartoons, because they have like the Roadrunner one, and then like where the ones like because I think Tom and Jerry are both they're both like secretly friends, and then they're just doing that to
Yeah, but you pay attention to the cartoon, Tom always loses.
yeah. Yeah, because you kind of feel bad for Jerry in some ways because it's always Tom like starting it or aggressing, and then he cooks up these plans to that are really you know really something, and a lot they always backfire on him.
People relate and Satan,
Uh-uh.
You can look at it as the human versus Satan.
Right. Yeah. 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 Exactly. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, so we see like in all these examples, God talks about all these messengers in succession, how all of them gave the same message. Like you talked about, for example, the fact that the verse that says the message He has brought has made us believers, right? And we see that even though we don't hear about that from people now, like they're talking about, all these other entities, right? As you said, but if we see, collectively, all these messengers since, the time of Adam have been bringing the same message to people to worship God alone, and that is found in all the scriptures, right? And so when you hear that, this messenger, like we've talked about Dr. Khalifa in this case, right? He's also preaching just God alone. Like for example, when Abraham came, he wasn't preaching Abraham and Muhammad couldn't possibly, or Jesus. He was only talking about God alone. And so, that makes perfect sense, like you said, mashallah, in addition to the miracle itself, which the miracle itself is so powerful, right? As we know, like it's one of the ultimate miracles. Like it confirms all the other miracles for us on top of that, right? I mean, just the miracle itself, like even without the message, right? I mean, for a lot of people, the miracle feels like it's more overpowering than even the message sometimes, But obviously, the message is the main thing, right? Because but the thing is, like when people get the message, people still have doubts about the message, and they're not sure, like if someone's messing with them, etc. Right? And so then you have the miracle on top of it, right? Which removes all those, as the verse says, all those little traces of doubts, even like traces of doubts from people, So, mashallah, that is a blessing we have. I mean, these people also got these miracles where we can see, as compared to the Quran's mathematical miracle, like these miracles were limited in their time and space, and but yet, the people who rebelled and the people who disbelieved, they got the retribution pretty quick, in response. And now for the messenger of the covenant in this generation, I mean, this is no different, right? God's system does not change, and as the messenger says, the retribution comes soon after the messenger leaves, and so now, and the retribution is a lot worse, given the fact that we have the ultimate miracle, right? And so we see that now that the messenger has come, the message has been delivered. I mean, this retribution is pending. It's been pending for a long time, So it's not gonna. God knows the future, but we know that He has a system in place, and we have the miracle too. On top of that, so we know that it's around the corner, really. Um, but mashallah, these verses show to us how the consistent message comes from God, how God continues to send the messengers because God wants the human beings to be saved. I mean, for their own good, right? And God doesn't get anything out of it. But still, the human being is so rebellious. The human being is so egotistical that, he wants to insist on his own path. Like, whatever I learned from my parents is what is the truth, right? I mean, this is the struggle. And, this is the test for these people, right? I mean, first you have the test of messengership, that you have these people that are just like them and live with them from their own time, contemporary people around them, and they see them as maybe less prominent, like not as rich or glamorous and whatever, some or most of them, and they think that they're inferior. Even if they were better than them, they would still be jealous of why they are better than them, right? And it still cause them issues. But the fact that it's not them and someone else, just related to their ego, causes them to be rebellious and also, following their own customs, following their parents, like the people of Lot, accustomed to homosexuality, the people of Shuaib, accustomed to, doing dishonesty, corruption. I mean, right now, we have all these evils in our society, like at large, especially in our Western society right now, even also, right? I mean, this is the most important community, so let's talk about it. I mean, we have homosexuality at large, we have cheating and dishonesty very normalized, and people are getting desensitized more and more. So it almost feels like the world is ready in prime form to receive another punishment, which is bigger than all these other punishments that these people have ever received. You know.
So,
mashallah, yeah, and we even have the same, communities that, the messenger warned specifically that are still rejecting and challenging, the retribution, so
Mm-hmm.
specifically the smoke. So, as we're
Mm-hmm.
seeing, like, these, they're gonna, get what's coming to them.
Yeah, the Arabs.
Right, yeah, the Arabs.
So we have some newcomers also in our study. Mashallah, welcome everyone. Um, Today we are joined by one other newcomer who is Easy BZ. So maybe you can introduce yourself if you don't mind, just a few words about yourself, and um, that'd be great. Okay, well, normally we just ask the people to introduce themselves to the group, but if you can't do it, I guess that's okay. Um, right. All right. So, anyone else have any other comments about the verses that you read? So, are there any questions related to the verses? Because if there are no questions related to the verses, um, there was another question that was I was asked to discuss, but the person didn't want to mention that it was from them. So maybe I can discuss that, but I want to know if there's any other questions about the verses or comments. before we can dive into that.
Yes, brother Salam. I have to say something about the verse 775. I like these verses, because I went through these things. And when I came, I got the message, and it was not easy. It took a couple of years to believe the messenger of covenant. He is the messenger from God. So, and I researched, and so it takes time. And only why I accept him as a messenger because of the message. The message he gave to us is like everything is matching with the Quran. I check when I talk to, and as soon as I believe him as a messenger of God, and we like it is kind of like the out of like the sincerity, the excitement. And I keep watching his all videos, audios, maybe within one month. Sometimes some people they thought maybe I was idolizing him too much. But God knows my heart. It was not that case. I just want to see, learn from him, the message, correct message. The more I listen, the more I watch his video, and I feel peace. That I'm getting the true message. So yeah, so I request all the people who became a new submitter. I encourage to get the message from the messenger of covenant. His videos, audios, there still. We need only sincerity. So and God will help. God help me. I got all the messages actually from him because I researched him, I watched him everything. So and it's clear. But some people they discourage sometimes. So maybe audio he messed up, the other people messed up. Some people will discourage people, but the sincere people will understand the correct message from him. So that's my understanding, brother. Yes, I was fear because I was going through so many things, couple of years. So many people now discouraged to listen his video, audio. It's like just not talking about him that much. It's like they are thinking we are idolizing him. No, we are just trying to get the true message. It's clear there. He clearly said, God alone. If you don't see anything in the Quran, don't believe it. He explained, don't believe it. We have nothing to do. Anything is not in the Quran. So the people I see here, they come and they tell wish something. Oh, this one. Why you cannot come straightforward? It's not in the Quran. That's all. Don't believe. Through the Quran, through the messenger, message is there. So we have the unity.
Brother Nizam, is that I just realized you had asked a question. I was right. You wanted to talk about it. So is that you're referring to that community question you were saying that you wanted to discuss?
I want to say, discuss something here in the Quran study, but I want to talk after the Quran study, 5-10 minutes. I do, yeah.
Right.
Right. Something in the Quran study, something is after the Quran study. That's it. This is like the regular,
right.
To discuss what's your idea. I think it will not be good to the online.
Right.
That's nice.
Yeah, maybe I think the other question that I was actually referring to was from another person. And I think maybe it's better that we also discuss their question offline. That way, because the person doesn't want to talk on the study session itself, which is being recorded. So maybe once we stop the recording, we can talk about both the questions. Does that sound good?
Yes, brother. It should be good.
Sure. Okay, so let's continue, God willing. So, any other questions about the verses we read? I think that would be, helpful. Otherwise, we can go into any off-topic questions that we can discuss now while we're on the study in the streams live.
Okay, but I was thinking, I do have a question about we know that the miracle of 19 is one of the greatest miracles. I was just like wondering, you know how I think it's in a footnote where the messenger says that the miracle of 19 supersedes all miracles. It's like the Quran. I was wondering, like, do we see it as um, the miracle of 19 confirms the Quran? And it's like, because we know also the messenger of the covenant has explained how what's even like when he's talking about the miracle in one of the videos, he talks about how what's even more important, it's the message in Quran. So we can apply it in our lives and answer like the most important questions that we have as human beings here in this earth, as of why we are here. I was just wondering, is it like that? Because we know that like basically like the Quran and like the miracle of 19 confirms the Quran, right? Like like that's so amazing. Actually, mashallah, it confirms all previous miracles and it confirms the Quran itself too, as we know. But do we see it as like it's like one? You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's
No,
not.
I don't understand at all.
It's not like it's not like the miracle of 19 supersedes the Quran. That's what I'm saying.
No, the miracle of 19 doesn't supersede the Quran. The miracle of 19 confirms the Quran.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I understand it. I was just.
But I mean, number 19 is God's signature on the universe. So it goes beyond the Quran itself too, right? Like for example, the number of bones in our body and things like that. You know, there's God's signature everywhere, and it is on the Quran too, because the Quran is divinely authored and not tampered with by humans. So it bears that signature of God. But obviously, the Quran itself, I mean, it's hard to like pull them apart because, right? Because it's part of the Quran. The mathematical group was part of the Quran, right? Just to confirm that these are God's words. You know, that's the significance of it, right? If the 19 was just a random book written by someone, or even God for that matter, it wasn't about the message. I mean, it was something about science or whatever. I mean, it wouldn't bear much significance in that sense. Right? It's just only, you know, in context of our religion and the scripture and the message, basically, you know, worshiping God alone.
Mashallah, thank you, brother.
Yeah, it truly is amazing, you know, because as Brother Suleiman mentioned, I mean, the Zam as well, kind of what y'all were saying. I mean, the messenger talked about it as well, and he gives the example of Abraham wanting reassurance, and he said it's not, you know, about the birds, you know, and the messenger was talking about this example. I like the way he had referenced it in relation to the miracle of 19, you know, but the reassurance that we get, just as for something like the contact prayers, I mean, the powerful proofs in that regard, and how the message kept getting more overwhelming. I mean, even like the Arabs were making, well, oh, you didn't include this or count this, and then like Surah 68, I was just watching something. I mean, like the proofs kept piling up, and all of their claims were being refuted. And I mean, these are the most evil people too. They have to be, because they're rejecting. I guess, you know. I mean, I guess they're the most evil people, but I mean, they're rejecting the most powerful proof, right, ever given, and trying to sow seed, not seed, but trying to sow seeds of doubt into their own people, right, their own communities in the Middle East and wherever else in the world. And but you know, the 19 gives us reassurance and any little traces of doubts, you know, because we know from Surah, mashallah, Surah 74, to remove all traces of doubts within the from the hearts, or might have said chests of those who believed. Um, so this is it's really a blessing, and it's um, and I mean, yeah, it's 19, without Wadu, if I'm saying that correctly, why 19? But there's a proof in of itself in that. Like if you look at that, the appendix 119, the part, I forget exactly which appendix, maybe the first one or the 25th, but that's I mean incredible in of itself, and like Suleiman just mentioned, I mean it's all throughout the creation, so it's it's really something to be so grateful for, that we have the truth and that this is the truth, um, mashallah.
So, you were saying something about different appendices. I didn't understand which appendices you were referring to.
So yeah, it was the one that said Y19, that explains the
Yeah,
which one is that? Appendix 1? Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was 1 or 25 or what it was.
32.
32.
38. Yeah, it's in the appendix 1. It's on page 391.
There's the mashallah.
Yeah. Wahad.
Yeah, I was even explaining that to someone. I don't know if it was, I don't know who it was, maybe my mom or somebody, but like that didn't even know. I mean, or I don't think it could have been her, because I did kind of talk to her about miracle over different points, but they didn't really understand anything about the Quran and the miracle, but they still found that fascinating. Like I'd sent them, I was trying from all different approaches and stuff, and then they found that the Hebrew and then the Aramaic, like it's all the same, and like if you go back to the geometrical values of and it makes sense. They thought it was it, but I don't know if they ever kept. But they were still, very fascinated.
So we really wanted to talk about the question this other person had asked, but I was gonna talk about it, but she left. So, anyways, they wanted to know basically why how our community, online community, is different from these Discord groups that she has just become a part of as a new submitter. So, um, and so I had mentioned that we could talk about it during the study, but then she left. So yeah, and I think what Brother Zombie mentioned about following, not idolizing the messenger. These people that are talking about not idolizing the messenger, obviously that's a trick that Satan's using to put fear in these people and repulse them, right? Not to say that there aren't people who are idolizing the messenger. I've seen people who are also idolizing the messenger, people who are attributing lies to him, also, right? And there are people who are saying they don't idolize the messenger or they're against idolizing the messenger, but they're also attributing lies to him on purpose, But nevertheless, Satan still tries to use that as an argument to convince people to not follow the entire message. Like recently, not recently, but in the last few years, like we had this couple of people that were didn't want to compromise on insurance. That wanted to compromise on insurance because the insurance was being offered to them by their work, um, and they were saying that it's okay to get it, to have it, to even pay for it, or not pay for it. I don't remember, but they said that um, you don't have to follow the messenger like blindly or something. Like if, in other words, like if it makes sense to me right now to have insurance, like I can have insurance. It's like I mean, you have other incidences where people have done similar things, right? But it's just a way for people to not want to follow the full message, based on their own personal opinions. So if they don't want to follow the messenger, they want to follow their own opinions. But God says you can't follow your own opinions either, right? So they're following their own opinions, and God says those who place their opinions above that of God and His messenger, basically God nullifies their works because they decide to go against God's system. It's the hypocrites who's, but as a messenger of the covenant wrote the article, the hypocrites proclaim we do not need a messenger. And so they talk about worshiping God alone and Quran alone, but under the guise of that, they go against God's system. So God misleads these people, and consequently, these people are not guided. But the thing is that these are not our headaches, because anybody who's doing that, they're cheating their own souls, right? And if we're trying to guide these people, I mean, sure, you can advise them, but if you're trying to guide them and you're trying to convince them, you're just most likely wasting your time in that sense, because they have decided most likely not to follow that path. And from my experience too, like talking to these people it doesn't we're not able to get through these people. Like they'll insist on their ways. I mean, some of these people will actually make their arguments even more stronger, like they evolve. Like some of them, for example, in the past, I remember like some of these people who were saying these types of things were saying that we don't want to idolize the messengers, so don't watch the audios and videos. And then when you debated with them again and again, then they kind of evolved their argument. They still don't believe it, but they still deceive people by saying, "Oh yeah, these are videos and audios are blessings," you know. But they still don't watch it. They still don't know what's in it. They still don't follow it. But they just change the argument to say no. But they have their own ways. Anyways, so my 2 cents on that. But for everyone else who is maybe new to this or listening to this for the first time, God sends messengers, and it's a blessing from God that He sends messengers, and He sends clarifying messengers to explain things. Like the messenger of the covenant was not like Muhammad. Muhammad's job was to give the scripture. The messenger of the covenant had a totally different job. He was just a messenger, not a prophet. So he's not getting any new scripture. He's just getting new information from the scripture, right? And if these people, of course, everything he explained was from the scripture. But if these people cannot find that information themselves in the scripture verbatim, which pretty much means that they want to be the messengers themselves, then they don't accept it. So they want to be the judge of what the messenger, what message is from the messenger himself, his personal opinion, and what is from God, which is ridiculous, because we know that God will not send a messenger who will speak on his own or mislead people saying something is prohibited when it's not. Otherwise that messenger would be fired. God wouldn't allow those messengers to be even chosen in the first place, right? But God will fire such people. I mean, God knows who's most efficient to deliver His message. He's not going to send a messenger who's going to promote idol worship. Like the messenger, allowed these videos to be recorded, audios to be recorded. He himself recorded videos, wrote books. They were not hadiths, because hadiths are lies, nothing to do with the Quran, against the Quran, contradicts the Quran, and those are lies attributed to them. But if a messenger is preaching from the Quran, like if you go somewhere and you think you follow the Quran alone and you talk about the Quran alone, I cannot say that don't listen to this person. This person is talking from his own, he's astray. This is his own opinion, or just saying this is his own opinion. If you are talking straightforward from the information you have found in the Quran, like that's the truth.
Yes, mashallah, brother, I agree. Yeah, I see also, I think you went through also this kind of experience. I don't know other people. So like say, when you are in the community, and say example, now Satan is trying to inject something in the religion, and and I see that different kind of people now. Some people say example, insurance. Some people, they thought maybe the messenger was wrong, but they follow Quran alone, and also some people believe the circumcision is some way authorized by God from the through Ibrahim, something like that. Something is different. They have a different opinion, but they do not take firm stand. I see is not authorized from God, so we do not believe it. But some people, they are like wishy-washy. And I saw other people, they said, okay, no, I do not believe circumcision is not authorized from God, but I do not, also disregard other people, from the religion, something like that. Like they want to give comfort for other people. No, yeah, brother. If we do this one, maybe we'll be dividing the religion. Like, don't discuss that much. Like discouraging. Even though he or she is saying she does not believe that thing, but not raising the voice and discouraging to just to be unity. So now I realize actually, I think they are not sincere. If they were sincere, the believer could be united. Now they try to give comfort the other people in the name of unity, and it was confusing the people. Sometimes, right. It was confusing. Oh, because his belief and my belief is same almost. So he is saying like that. So now you have confusion, or I have confusion. What I have to do now? This is the kind trick of Satan, I think, So and it's wasting time for the people. That's why how you recognize, how we say about those people who sided with me sometimes and sided with them also, like give them comfort, to dilute the message, as a kind of something like that. Yeah, they don't take firm stand, straightforward.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, like, mashallah, the way, that's how I saw the message.
Something like that. Yeah, they don't take firm stand, straightforward.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, like, mashallah, knows God and His messenger, and dividing the believers by promoting and allowing these types of things. That's not a message you should be a part of in the first place, right? So you are required to be in a masjid which is based on righteousness from the first state, not based on this wishy-washiness. Like, okay, you believe insurance, you believe circumcision, you believe this, some other nonsense, and we're all brothers and sisters, and let's hold hands together and stick on my
Yeah.
That's not submission.
Right.
That's just inviting Satan to allow to promote this wishy-washy, diluted, or watered-down version of submission that, for example, Mr. Tucson and all these other people are promoting, right? Because our job, God has given us the true message, and we have to protect and promote that true message. God says, in those masjids are people who love to be purified. They should be part of masjids where people want to be purified, not where people want to just, fester all this innovation and stuff, right? Like imagine, like it's in your body, right? Like your body is attacked by some kind of virus or some kind of bacteria, and then all your white blood cells are like, oh no, let this brother come in, and then they multiply, right? And then the whole body is diseased, right? So if that's how things work, then that's how the disease spreads. You allow these elements to come in, and this type of stuff, they grow and they multiply, right?
Or parasites.
They influence you, they hurt you, because you become like them when you go with them. If you see people with mosques like that where they're polluted, don't pray in those mosques. Try to force yourself to be with the believers where people can stand up for the truth, because on the day of judgment, we're going to answer to God. We're not responsible for compromising and befriending the hypocrites. These types of people are hypocrites, right? Because they cannot make a firm stand for God, which is what brought us here in the first place. Because we couldn't make a firm stand, we got swept with the crowd. We wanted to get along. I don't know what it was really. Sounds like we wanted to get along, and we weren't sure. Like, oh, maybe he's right. I don't know. Like, I don't want to cause any friction. So we have to side with God, and God doesn't want wishy-washy people. First of all, God wants solid people who will work for Him and who will stand for the truth. God has given us a religion that's very straightforward. There's no ambiguity. God has given us the Quran. Everything that's in the Quran we're supposed to follow. If it's not in the Quran, we don't follow it. We don't care for it. The messenger has given us the complete message. And we know the messengers don't make up lies and stuff. Like, for example, when it comes to insurance and stuff, he's clearly pointing out from the Quran that it is gambling, right? And it's prohibited. So if people are saying things like that, and there's other people that are okay with all this stuff being, promoted and festered in the mosque, then you shouldn't be part of such congregations. I've said that many times to you.
No, you said, because I told you, there's so many things, Satan will come out and say and confuse you because the situation is different for your situation. So, that's why I went through it and and now finally when I understood that actually, if even if you are said you are praying God alone and you said when they bring the argument, oh, when you are praying and then we are not saying like the prophet name, we are not saying so in the prayer, in the Juma, so there is no insurance, so we are not talking about the insurance, we are not talking about, so why you cannot pray together? Because in the prayer, we say only God alone, we say Surah Fatiha, we say La ilaha illallah, so it is tricky. So I come to the point now, even though we are saying in the congregation La ilaha illallah, only Surah Fatiha, but if our belief, if our iman is not correct, so everything will be wasted. First, we have to correct our iman, our belief. If everybody, if you believe that Quran is only source of law, so then we now we have true iman. Now we are now in. But if you are not agree with this main belief, main things, the worship Quran alone. So only the prayer as say God as a La ilaha illallah and not praising the Prophet Muhammad is not actually, my understanding is now, is not, fulfill the correct, I mean.
Yeah, God talks about people who are hypocrites, right? They sit among the believers and spread their poisonous doubts. They only come to you, God says many times, they say they believe even though their hearts are full of disbelief when they came and they entered. So you recognize them by certain signs, right? And God talks about all of those signs. And these things that they say to you, these are the signs that fit that description. So we know what Quran says about hypocrites. We know what Quran says about these mosques, and just because someone's praying the same way as you and saying they believe in God alone, anybody can give lip service. It's the actions that show, what their belief is, right? It's the actions. So when they say make these statements, they show that they're not believers. Then it's clear. You cannot just judge by someone doing their contact prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, God would say that only way to recognize a hypocrite is they say, Muhammad in their contact prayers. We know that's not the case, right? Or someone saying they don't want to pray. Anybody can come and do their contact prayer. It doesn't matter. The fact that everybody's coming and doing their contact prayer and saying they believe doesn't mean that they actually are believers. When they're saying things like that about the religion and inciting with these people and defending this type of stuff, they're not.
Mm-hmm. No, so actually, it's tricky, brother. Yeah, it's not easy, and we have to have very sincere heart.
Why is it tricky? It's very straightforward.
No, it's very straightforward. No, but it's straightforward. But Satan make it tricky to confuse the other people. That's I want to say. But when you say God alone, Quran alone, it's a straightforward. But Satan will come a different angle and confuse to he said, maybe now let me think. So now they also bring the verses 214, who are more evil than those who boycott God's masjid. So
also says who are more evil than those who fabricate lies to God.
Yeah. So they do not want to bring, but they want to say, if you leave this masjid,
and also God's messages. Remember, where messages where they promote, opposing God and His messenger and comforting the people who oppose God and His messenger and promote innovations. They're promoting idol worship, right?
Yes.
So, those messages belong to Satan. So those are not God's messages. So when they throw that verse at people, that doesn't make sense. That they're just that applies to messages that are actually devoted to God alone. And these people decide out of this, these jealousy and hatred that they have, that they're never going to pray in those masjids. Like for example, we have a masjid here, right now, but people who know that we firmly stand against innovation and stuff will never come and pray here because of peer pressure, whatever reasons. There are people that live very close by to us, never will come and pray here. So it applies to them because God says that they boycott God's masjids and they attribute their decision, right?
Yes, brother, God, yeah. So this is also my understanding after all the research, because when you are out of like the Quran alone, God alone, that means Quran alone. So this masjid is not God masjid anymore. That's my idea. Even though you are saying, we are praying God alone, we do not talk Prophet Muhammad, la ilaha illallah. So they bring this God masjid. So
God's message is where people love to be purified. If they notice something like that, you bring it to their attention, they will thank you and reform. But if they insist on their way, no, it's fine, let them come, and this is okay, they're our brothers and sisters, that means they don't care.
Yeah, it's not they are not sincere. That's my understanding. I was in confusion. Sometimes because sometimes you see the people you explain some in other Quran studies. Sometimes you see the people they are more righteous than me. Sometimes and they do not. So confusing. Maybe So it takes time. So but I want.
I understand what you're saying about the people being more righteous than you. Like when you see these people, a lot of these people, I mean, they're showing off. A lot of people want to show off also, and so these types of people, they want to pretend to be very righteous. So they do these things to show that they're very righteous. And when you see them, God says you may be impressed by their looks. You may be impressed by the way they talk and stuff, But they don't possess an understanding. They're like giving lip service, But the thing is, if you if you are not a hypocrite, you don't have to pretend. You know, you don't have to put this a fake persona of a righteous, pious person. You know, like holy, priestly, and have this tone and just mention, act this a certain way. You know, like I mean, now it's easier for me to tell when I see that, but in the past, like also I would be confused, right? Because I say, well, these people are so sincere, so righteous. Look how they're talking. You know, it's almost like they have a halo on their head. You know, that's the only thing that. But they're people. These people could be very self-righteous too, and they it shows in the way they talk and stuff. But like from what I have seen in the past, like people like that I consider so righteous, when these types of situations arise, then you truly see their true colors. You know, like also that fake righteousness kind of wears off too, and you see the truth. You know, like when God exposes someone, then you see that.
Okay. Yeah, understood. Yeah. I also went through these things, so many things, road shows here. So you said there are some summit right near to you, they do not pray with you, and they believe that's different thing, something like that, and.
Sorry, I didn't catch your question because I just received an email notification and I got distracted.
Okay. No, you said there are some other submitters near you, but they do not come to your masjid. So they have the different belief, right? They follow some other.
Like there's some that are like, for example, circumcisionists. So they fought in the beginning when they were coming to the mosque in San Jose also. So but they used, like for example, they used to drive from this area and go there like almost 3 hours, if you can imagine, and go to those studies. So yeah, so they live here.
Oh, so, but they're not. I mean, okay, understand.
Yeah, I think.
Now, actually, I was gonna say now, actually, some of them we met, but I don't know if they're actually part of that. Like, I have to talk to them. They're still part of the same congregation, but we don't know, like, if there's some hope to have a dialogue with those people, because few people in that group are still in at least in talking terms with us, So we can talk to them at a later point, God willing. Sometimes they listen to our studies also, So we can talk to them. But there's other people, just to clarify, there's other people in the same area who are totally against, the idea of circumcision being not part of the religion, and they're having trouble, all kinds of trouble now, like health issues and everything, serious health issues. They were fine before I left, So.
Okay.
Sorry, Brother John. Go ahead.
Mashallah, I just wanted to kind of re-emphasize the point that you were talking about, about truly being devoted and sold on God. I mean, this is so pivotal. I really think for our success and redemption here. I mean, especially um, with the opportunity that God has given us, right? Because we're here to kill our egos and correct ourselves. But I mean, if we look at the verses in the Quran that we're supposed to forbid evil, I mean these are actually traits of the submitters. In Surah 3, let there be a community of you who invite to what is good, advocate righteousness, and forbid evil. So if you're not actively forbidding, evil, i.e., circumcision, innovations, all that. Let me finish the verse after. It says, and forbid evil. These are the winners. So, we have to look at these things and make sure every single one of us, myself included, anyone who's listening, if we're submitters, we have to do all of these. We have to be. Naturally, this will come with time, but this is so important because look at how many people who compromise. As we're warned throughout the Quran, those who compromise their convictions, those who acquiesce to the people's wishes, those who fall into social pressure. Surah 29. It's a devastating disaster, right? That we're told in Surah 29. Social pressure, a profound disaster. In Surah 3, we also have the verse, they believe in God and the last day, they advocate righteousness and forbid evil, and they hasten to do righteous works. Surah 9 talks about forbidding evil, they advocate righteousness and forbid evil, they observe the contact prayers. It says the believing men and women are allies of one another. So if we aren't, if we don't make a firm stand against these things, as like Brother Nizam has talked about, Suleiman just talked about these people that are doing not doing this in these studies and providing comfort. These are wishy-washy. These people are not forbidding evil. They're not abiding by the commandments of God. They don't match up to these descriptions of the winners. Surah 9 is titled The Winners, verse 71. Verse 41 of Surah 22, there are those, if we appointed them as rulers on earth, they would establish the contact prayers, salah, and the obligatory charity, and would advocate righteousness and forbid evil. God is the ultimate ruler. Surah 31, same thing, Luqman, you shall advocate righteousness and forbid evil. So, we see these are really important things, just like, we see, here's more of an extreme example, but there's churches now, churches, if you can believe this, that allow, provide acceptance, and say it's okay to be homosexuals, right? They're allowing these people in their churches and their but
even mosques.
Even mosques. Okay, I didn't know that. This is how bad it's turned into.
Story of the famous mosque somewhere in the U.S. and their imam is gay, openly gay. I think Quranic mosque or something.
Which mosque is that? That's
I think like a Quranist mosque.
Quranist
like
mosque?
maybe they're not. They don't. They're just Quranists.
And
like Quranists to those people, like Adib, for example.
Yeah, like how far could these people have gone from the past?
Not to mention that, all these people, they get exposed, like all these pedophiles, they're pedophiles, rapists, and, all these priests and monks and, masjid people, always the ones, doing all these kinds of things on top of that. Not to distract, but they are basically wicked people, That's why they have no regard for God, They'd rather care about more people joining them because that means they get more money from them, for donations and things like that. Yeah. There's actually, I think, there's mosques in the UK also, apparently, which is weird. There's crazy stories online actually if you search for that. It says gay imam shot dead before going to perform a wedding for two Muslim lesbians. Crazy. South Africa is openly gay imam. It's also in South Africa. Australia's first gay imam, So it's happening like all over the world apparently, but mostly in Western countries.
Yeah, I mean, this, you know, in a
The
way,
US also.
like we know God
Go
is
ahead.
running everything. Like these people, the people who follow, it's like a honeypot to expose these hypocrite devils, humans that follow and go to these mosques that have, you know, that know in the Bible it's forbidden, know in the Quran it's forbidden. I mean, not to mention the fact that they're falling into idol worship, but it's you know, like in Surah 6, you know, these people are allowed to, we allow the leaders of these communities to promote, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically to inspire fancy words. And I mean, these, to expose them, to thus expose the true convictions and expose what's in their hearts. So, like, you know, it's people who go to these mosques with that, you know, promote homosexuality and these, like, how could you, like, what is going through your mind? You know, unless you're a bad yourself, right? Like, why would you go to something so obvious? You know, like, is it, you know, better to go here? You know, it's like, you know, I mean, it's the same thing, you know, with well, maybe it's more elusive, but I think that's what makes it so dangerous with these so-called submitter communities that are preaching uh the one that Zam just brought up, the ones you had been to, Brother Suleiman. What makes them so bad is because, you know, they're you know, like everything on the outside looks perfect, you know, but like you said, the more you get to know them, you can see that they don't actually believe in the Quran alone. They don't actually believe the messenger. I mean, even the one in Los Angeles, the one I went to, like they undermined the message. I mean, how bad can you be? Like, what if there was a what if there's a newcomer who was like so happy and just, I mean, I'm just, what this is, could have been a situation, and they're wanting to learn, and then they get there and you're bad mouthing the messenger, and I mean, like how bad? But they don't, you know. But I think that's what makes these things so. Why these people are so dangerous.
Mashallah.
Mashallah, brothers. Thank you. Yeah.
And also, like, even like, for example, if you were in a situation where like the only way, I don't know, like if this maybe it's possible, maybe it's not, but it's just an idea. Like if you were in a situation where there is just, like, let's say circumcisions or any other places that um that are doing such things, and they like your best bet, like the best thing that you can do is like not even go to such places, you know, because like it would even be better for you if you just did your 4 rakas and don't go such places, because then you won't be like, you won't be disobeying God when God says do not pray with such people, you know. It would be better just you, even if you're just by yourself, you know, in that situation.
Yes.
Try to be, you know, around people who are not like that. I mean, continue.
No, I understood, brother. No, no, I was, you know, no, some people mix, you know. Oh, these people, so some people you find that it look like, yeah, they are matching with your understanding, and some people. So in that situation, sometimes it take time to, you know, get through all these things stuff. Yeah, there's
been a couple of years.
Sometimes, yeah, I so
You're still deciding.
it's so hard, you know, because you know, every time you see the new people, oh, let's see now. should I?
But the thing is that, you know, you're not responsible for the new people. You're responsible for yourself.
Yes, yes.
For you, don't think about other people. Like, it's not your job to save humanity. Your job is to save your soul. If you can't save your own soul, you know, I mean, what good is that if you save the entire world? If you can't save your own soul, you can't save anybody else. So you have to, that's what God says. You should worry about your own neck, right? And so in your situation, worrying about your own neck means like stay away from such people. You know, like don't go to those places. That's how you don't accept these things on a continuous basis. You know, because what is it? They're promoting doubts, right? You come here and you have all these confusions in your mind, like you want clarity, right? Why? Because of this mind. Because they're putting doubts.
No, yeah, it's putting doubt also anyhow, but it's also the some most of the time is lesson, because maybe some other people in the future they will face so many problems like us, so they can get the understanding. Oh, yeah, in this situation, is tricky situation. Yeah, they may.
Yeah, but you're not saying. To be honest with you, you're not saying a good example for such people by staying in that group.
Yeah,
right.
No, yeah. Also, no,
a good
yeah.
example would be like if you get out of that group, you know, and then someone asks you the question, and you can say, "Yes, I had a similar situation. I got out of that group." You know, not being stuck in it for years, right? By saying like, "No, I have to." I mean, I've seen that. You know, I've seen people say, "No, I have to be there and I have to fight for the truth and things like that." And then you see over time, you know, they just become like those people. You know, they may not be fighting over that same thing. You know, there may be something else, but they just become like them. You know. Yeah, because you know the thing is, um, God comes first for us, right? It's not the people like a community of submitters matters to you when they're devoted to God alone, right? Where they're like-minded people who encourage you to be on the path to help you. But with set of people, they're the worst people. Worst people. Like it's better for you to hang out with like a Sunni Muslim than hypocrites in submission, in the sense that you know they're. I mean, they're all hypocrites. Actually, they're both going to the lowest pit. But I'm saying, I mean, okay, let me rephrase this. And it's better for you to hang out with an atheist than these hypocrites, right? Because they're going to the lowest pit of hell.
No, that's true. No, that's why what I understand now. Actually, the way I was thinking, and it's not working. So when I also experience, even if you hang and if you try or if you can, you feel happy, it will be okay someday. So the thing I went through also the same thing, and actually it's not working. It will not work. That's my experience. That's I yeah. It's not working. It will not work. But
no, it's not gonna work.
Go through experience.
God cannot guide the ones that are led astray by God. Because these people have chosen to be that way, and by you, being a dead horse here. Anyways, okay. So, are there any other comments or questions from anyone?
I was just gonna add to what we've been talking about right now a little bit. Is also like this is what the hypocrites do. Like brother, is talking about how it's tricky and it's kind of this is what they do. This is the character. This is what they do in those groups. Like if you have some disciplined people, then you have people that are saying, "Oh, like I believe," like, and then but they're with them praying, like this is what causes trickiness and causes confusion. Like, this is what they do. This is why, like you just mentioned, they will be in the lowest pit. Okay.
Yeah, especially when you kind of get involved with these people, like in your personal life, or you start to see them on a regular basis. You become friends. Now you've made it harder for yourself, right? Because now you have mixed ideas about these people. Don't know, maybe these people are nice. Maybe these people are, maybe I can change them, or something like that. But the thing is, I'm going to talk about the brother in Islam, what you were saying, right? So, so when you're going to these groups, you start, seeing them like on a regular basis, then those things happen. Like, and actually, the messenger talked about this also. He said like some of these hypocrites. He said, they can be very kind and loving people, right? Does anyone remember which video that was in?
Yeah, it's audio.
Yeah.
There's audio. I actually did the mashallah. It was one of the. I think it's audio 30 because I just one of the last ones I worked on. So maybe audio 47. It's either audio 47 or 46, but it's in there. And yeah, he actually he talks about it for a couple minutes. Mashallah. I mean, it's probably in a video too, but I just remember that that one too.
Yeah. Also, we have other people also that joined. We have Brother Sipan, we have Brother Jaffer, we have Brother Chris, and Sorgul here. So, encourage you guys to participate as well.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum, brother. I just missed the study. There is this one place I'm working on. It's like a lot of mess. So I was there. People working on it was very loudy, and I needed to speak to people. So I couldn't listen to the Quran study. But then the moment I left, I opened it. So I need to check on YouTube and listen to the study, inshallah.
Thank you. We read from Surah 7, verse 63 to verse 93, So maybe have a quick glance on the verses, and if you have any comments or any questions, we can definitely discuss. Like,
oh, okay. So I'm driving at the moment as well, brother. So
okay.
Yeah, I need a moment to check these verses, of course, and then we had our Turkish study yesterday. That was, of course, and then we had our Turkish study yesterday. That was
I saw.
very good. Yeah, I came also again late home, but I was thinking I'm not going to go by. I'm really gonna do the study, even if it takes that 1 o'clock at night. So
that's very good. That's very good. I think keep it up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
For recording of the study, like once you have everything set up, do a test recording. See how it comes out, Because
a little bit double voice,
yeah, it's echoes because it makes it hard for the people to follow. I think maybe what happened is you have audios on.
I have two mics actually. One is on the computer and one is on the phone. So I actually should have turned off
one of them.
One of them. Yeah. But I forgot. I was very tired, brother. But next time, I know now. I won't forget, inshallah.
Study, so.
Yeah, you remember I said this is really gonna happen, man. It doesn't.
Yeah.
For so long time. So, mashallah, and brothers and sisters, they joined as well. It was really amazing. I know it's like much later in Turkey. Like the time is like 2 hours difference, I think, even so. But Sipan and Sorgil and all the other brothers and sisters, they're so amazing, mashallah. They joined. So from now on, every Friday, God willing, we also had our Friday prayer with Margani. And we were, when we were just at this project, and we said that we are gonna do this. It doesn't matter. So we put something on the ground, and then we just did our prayer, man. So with the help of God.
So you guys weren't having Friday prayers before regularly?
No, we have like the last. Of course, I went on a holiday and I wasn't here, but the last, I think, 2 months, remember we spoke about it? We said either we're going to do the Friday prayer or we're just going to stop doing this whole work. We're going to stop working. Yeah, because we had all the time, like, you find these small excuses, like, yeah, we're working and there's no place, but right now we just do it. Doesn't matter where we are. We really try to plan, and with God's help, we could do that the last 2 months before the holiday, and now we started again. So,
recently I went on a trip with Brother Raphael and Brother John.
That's what I was just thinking.
And now, it's a very, it's like a tourist spot, and there's lots of tourists there. It's a lake by the water. I think you've seen some pictures, but we're just at like one of the busiest places. Where they come and they rent boats and everything. And it was time for Friday prayer, and we were on a tight schedule. We had to go back, so we just literally just by the beach, where everybody was walking. Like, we just put our prayer rugs and
mashallah.
I was just thinking that.
Mashallah. We did also a few with Madani in the park. Yeah, it was nice weather. It was so beautiful. So, mashallah, yeah. Yeah, brother. So the thing is, like, we shouldn't, we should plan our days in that. Eventually, we shouldn't have excuses, of course, right? Also, not for the studies, not for the Friday prayers or any other thing. We should put God first. The Messenger of the Covenant speaks about this topic. He said, ask to yourself, who is your God? Was God your God today? So, God willing, we will do better, inshallah, in the future.
Inshallah, man. May God allow us to be steadfast, Steadfast is very important in our path. So, yes. This saying goes, slow and steady wins the race. Right?
Yes, definitely.
I'm not saying that we should be slow, but we should definitely be steady.
Fast and steady. Not furious, okay? Don't be furious.
Yeah.
So do we have new incomers, like new brothers or sisters that we don't know, like Sipan and Circle? I know, of course. CS? Who is CS?
So you, I think, didn't join the previous study, Brother Chris was in the Tuesday study for the first time.
Chris, mashallah. Yeah, welcome, brother Chris. Good to have you, mashallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Sam. Congratulations.
Thank you.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, so Chris, he's also from the U.S., but he's in South America at the moment. And Brother Jaffer, he's in the Netherlands.
It's a very small area,
Yeah, his name starts with C, but it's pronounced
you would. Jaffer, yes, it's Jaffer, like Jack James Jaffer. My wife called me Jeff, so you can also call me Jeff.
Jeff?
Yes, it's easier. Shorter. Yeah, brother.
Yes, brother. Your real name is so interesting, It's like a comment.
Oh, yeah, I heard it so many times. I know.
Jeffrey is a very popular name in the U.S. right now.
Oh, really? No, it's just you. I know you. But most of the times, if it's not a Turkish someone, and someone who doesn't know me, they all the time, use the C as a K, and then they say kafir. So then I'm thinking, okay, why?
Yeah, that's what I thought at first. Yeah, when I first saw you, I saw your name, I was like, oh, Brother Kafir or Kafer or something.
Yeah, I need to explain myself. Telling, people, I'm telling them, listen, don't be Kafer because that means, that's a bad word actually. I'm submitter, so call me either Jaffer or
Oh, really? It's a bad word in Turkish?
No, in Turkish it's a good name. Yeah, it's nice.
the thing is, like, if you, I mean, not to make this a center of our conversation, but you can always, like, if you change the C to a J, you know, like in other countries, people spell it with a J, right? So it's the same.
But why? Why?
Because in English, the J, like, that's how we write it, right?
Yeah, but I understand, but like, if I'm talking to someone, I can just simply correct them.
Make life easier.
Okay, but it's easy, brother. Yeah, like, it's actually it makes it more funny for me, you know. So and then it gives me an opportunity to let that person know what kafir means, and that I am not a kafir, I am a submitter, and then I'll tell him what submission means. Like it's an opportunity. So I'm using that. Yes, definitely. And I say, yeah, but what does kafir mean? Like I'm telling this, it's not a good thing. So yeah. No, brother, I'm happy with my name, and even if they mispronounce my name, it's no problem, brother.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah, sure, definitely.
You know, when I first, sorry, I just want to, it's kind of funny. When I first saw the name, like, I was very careful, you know? Like, make sure don't say that, you know? But then, like, when I heard Brother John and Suleiman start talking, I was like, oh, okay, now I know.
Okay, yeah, really, mashallah. Mashallah.
Very careful.
It's originally an Arabic name, like this.
Yeah, I think when I first saw your name too, like, I wasn't accustomed to, like, reading Turkish names, and I think even a Turkish, like, this is, C has some kind of a, doesn't C have some kind of a thing on top of it, like,
yeah, underneath it, you have two, like, you have a C and you have a Ch, and there's a J and a Ch. Yeah, so a Ch is like comes after C. Yes,
so
some
why don't
type
you
of.
put that under your name?
No, but that's Ch. Then you would call me Chafer. Like that's very different. It's not Chafer. It's Jaffer.
Oh, so you're saying with the C on its own, it's actually G without.
Yes, without it. Yes. So the same comes with the S. So you have an S without a dot underneath. An S with a dot underneath. It's the sh. Like you have sin and shin, like sin shun. It's the same. And then also in Arabic, you have the alif bet sa, rim, and then like J in Arabic. That's Jim. No, there is J in Turkish. It's C. And then you have the they have ch in Arabic, like alif bet sa. Is it ch?
Anyways, okay, I think let's get back to the study.
Yeah, but okay. Okay. Yeah, so that's my name. Okay. Sure.
So, yeah, Marshall, I mean, just to be clear, like for other people, like, I mean, we're not trying to make fun of names or anything like that. You know, God says don't make fun of people's names or anything. We're just, I guess we're just discussing. So, yeah, so anyone else has any other comments or questions about the verses? Or any additional off-topic questions from anyone? Well, one thing I just wanted to mention here, you know, about these messengers is how the people responded to them personally, you know, and how they would have responded to the believers people who believe with them, like all of the insults and the name calling, you know, like how they called them liars and they said they're foolish, you know, they call them stupid and all kinds of things. And we see that the believers were met, you know, who believed with them were met with the same kind of you know, insults and things like that. And that's why we know that
that's like let's try to something like that. Are we not required to say that we are submitted? We're not to proclaim that we are submitted. Right?
you say you're saying we're required to tell people.
yes, that we need to say that we are submitters because if I'm not mistaken, we just read it yesterday or the day before in the Quran, where God says to say that we believe in one God and we submit to Him. That we need to say this.
Yeah, we need to say it, but like in what context are you saying we need to say it? Like, for example, like, I mean, like I'm going on a train or an airplane on my own. I'm just minding my business, you know. Like,
Not just no, that's meant. No, that's not what I meant.
Basically, brother, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like there's some people if someone is if they're not in fear for their life and they're asked, you know, if like someone like if a friend came up to me and says, hey, if like someone like if a friend came up to me and says, hey, what and there's people that are other listening, let's say it's a in
that you can keep it secret, but are we saying that you can also keep it secret because you're ashamed or maybe you're afraid that they're going to mock you?
We're saying
I misunderstood.
Just
Oh, okay. Because I think
you shouldn't hide it for that reason because if they mock you, that's credit for your soul.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, and then, because the message of the covenant he speaks about it, he doesn't say, they say God willing, and then, there he says, when they and they maybe you're mocking you or they could mock you, but eventually they're going to respect you for that.
mashallah, yeah.
Because you say this.
Yeah.
You say God willing every time.
Yeah, I mean you'll say it even I mean even if you're in front of like if you're typing into for your work, I mean you could be on threads or channels that where there's very could be high level people in your company, a big corporation that see this. I mean you don't care. This is the mindset you're supposed to have, and maybe when you first did it you're wondering like, but you have to get to a point where you don't care. God controls these people's responses. If they persecute you or even scoff at you for, oh, look, God willing, you shouldn't be bringing that into the workplace. That's part of my religion. And it's exactly what Satan will try to put these little fears in you, but you don't care because you know God. Yeah, I remember like having like this happening. I was listening to this was probably like 2 years ago, and then I was listening to a study where Brother Suleiman was teaching. Now I was listening to this 2 years ago, but the study I was listening to was probably God, and because it helps other people, so people I was listening to this, and then I mean even doing your contact prayers in public. I think too this was another thing he was talking about. I mean, God could make you invisible, if you're doing it on a public street. I mean, not that you.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, like, I feel that way, like, when we pray in public, like, I feel, God makes us invisible.
Yeah.
Except for this one time when I was praying at the gym, in Venice. Like, old gym, and these two ladies, they were standing there, like, oh, is that the yoga man?
Yeah. That's so funny. I remember.
It was just right in front of the yoga class place.
I remember.
Yeah, the recording is still going on. So I guess if there's no other questions about any other topics, we can still talk about the other subject. I think it may be better to just discuss that, but I think openly. But I think if this person wants to I mean, if you want to talk during our answer, then maybe we can go offline, but core groups, at least. And I'm not sure if this is the same group they're in or not, but the question was how our Quran study is, or how our online community here is different from those other Discord groups. So I don't specifically know which group they are a part of, but from just a very general perspective, from how I understand it, there's three groups. There's one group that I think is okay. That was not the question. So all right. Okay. So I'm at a loss here. Um, okay. So, anyways, so
It's a good question. Anyways, it's a good question.
what's the question?
The one that the one
Okay, the question that I'm talking about, I guess you're talking about, right? Is that even the question?
Yeah. I think that's not the question. But your question is also a good question because that's maybe also a topic that we need to talk about and to make clear what the difference is, of course. But let's go on. Let's go on first with brothers or sisters question. I don't know if it's a brother or sister.
Yeah, it's a sister.
Oh, the sister's question.
So I think what they're saying, I think I just wanted to speak to someone and build a proper understand this group. Right, I mean, we're submitters to God. That's pretty
We don't care about numbers. It's our goal is not to make sure that our numbers grow, but yeah. Yeah, amazing, huge.
Yeah, we don't support Israel or Donald Trump or any political parties. We're submitters to God. We don't say. I mean, because I'm saying that's because I've heard these things in other groups. Following that as part of their agenda for whatever weird. And yeah, so we're submitters to God alone, and we follow the message as preached by the messenger of the covenant. We don't pick and choose things that he has preached. We follow all of them.
Against circumcision, that's an important one.
Oh yeah, circumcision too. Like we only accept what is the messenger of the covenant has preached, and what is in the Quran, which is what the messenger has preached. And circumcision is an innovation from Satan, and we firmly believe that we should follow Quran alone, and any practices that are not part of the religion and our inherited traditions, they're condemned. All Hadith and Sunnah are satanic innovations, and circumcision is one of them.
Also, intoxications, any intoxication to be used as medicine, that's we don't agree on. Like some people say that some drugs can be used as medication and it's all okay, but it's not. We don't agree with that.
Medical marijuana, that doesn't, I mean, they have medical methamphetamine, if you can believe that. So, I mean, it's, just put that out there, because there's been some people that, wanted to compromise when this stuff is spelled out very clearly.
Yeah, any form of insurance?
Smoking is bad for you, but it's not an intoxicant because it doesn't affect your judgment. You're just not it doesn't cover up your brain.
And we cannot say that it's prohibited because it doesn't say that in the Quran. And also insurance. Yes, and insurance is, eating a lot of chips is also bad for you. So, right? It's maybe in the same. Insurance is an important topic that any
smoking is worse than eating chips.
Yeah, of course. Any type of insurance is also prohibited. Yeah.
People can die from nicotine poisoning. Like if you put enough nicotine in somebody's food, like they can die. Like if you extract a little bit of nicotine and you put it in somebody's food, they can die. Like right there, it's not even like noticeable, to you. Like they may not even taste it in their food. It's so little, but the person can die. Like you can inject it in their neck or something, and the person can die. It's very bad. Anyways, but yeah, it's not prohibited as smoking in itself it's bad for you. You can say it's a waste of money. It's affecting your health. It affects other people. But it's not prohibited. And then, yeah, we talked about insurance. It's prohibited. It's gambling. The messenger talks about it. You don't compromise on insurance.
Even pet insurance.
Yeah.
Brother, about smoking, can you say, like, is it like putting your finger on the fire type of thing?
Yeah.
You know it's bad for you when you're supposed
Yeah.
to.
Like, yeah, you like same as dog poop, right? If you start eating dog poop, I mean, it's not prohibited. You know, but is it good for you? Yeah.
Oh, and about bitcoins, we had also that topic, like, and that was part of. Remember, we spoke about it, like, because when you do coins, bitcoins, that kind of, most of the people put a lot of time into that, making that thing their god, thinking all the time about coins, but eventually that doesn't make it prohibited, because I remember you saying you can give someone the assignment, like, to do that for you as an accountant, let's say, and then they can do that type of things, right? So, because my beginning was, since people are, like, when they do coins, they put a lot of time into that, eventually making that thing, the coins and money and that type of things, their gods. So, and then I would say, well, because of that, it's prohibited. But, we can't say that it's prohibited, right? The thing itself, the whole working on the coin.
Right. No, I mean
Right?
these people can, like, if they're investing and doing these trades or whatever, they can be listening to the Quran while doing this. For example, they can be when they're moving their mouse on the screen, they can, or just looking at their monitor, they can just be like, "Oh man, thank God for eyesight," or something. Like, what if I was blind? I mean, just whatever. Like, you can make Messenger talk about this. You can look at some flowers on your desk. You're at the computer, you're at work, just an example, on Zikr, and you say subhanallah. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's a test for these people, because it's definitely you dealing with money and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I think there was another question. It says, is homosexuality a sin?
Yes, of course. We just read about it.
We just talked about it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, of
condemned.
course.
Why is women asking things?
They said I scrolled up and got confused.
About homosexuality?
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
made
the
a comment
messengers.
about all the Muslim gay moms and stuff,
Oh, I
So
see.
yeah,
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
saying
yeah, I
how
see.
trying to be inclusive and allowing
Right, right,
all
yeah.
kinds
Yeah, he was
of
just giving an example, like, that they compromise and try to be inclusive. Yeah, yeah, it's condemned. It's wickedness. It's
yeah. I mean, if we're telling you that we're following Quran alone and accepting everything from the Messenger of the Covenant and not picking and choosing, then I mean, it should be understood that homosexuality is a sin, right? The Quran is very clear about that. All right. So, are there any other questions before we